Emperor Qin is a broken commander in Rise of Kingdoms, and what we found will absolutely blow your mind. We told you, as we get to figure this guy out, we're going to have more and more things we discover and uncover, and our boy Davor, our resident nerd, the guy that figures everything out in 606, he's also a part of the King's Codex in Discord. He has cracked a code on this dude that will blow your mind. Welcome back in, everybody. I'm your boy, War Daddy Chatsky. I put out content all the time. And if you enjoy that content, please throw a thumbs up on it. Like it. It helps out the channel. Also, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And it really helps out the channels. We pushed through 40,000 subscribers. And we're putting out content all the time. We want to give you real rock life application. We want to help you be a better player and help your account get better and better in the game, no matter where you're at in the account. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're starting out new or you're in the end game or you've been playing for years. We want to help any way we can. This is a video that's going to absolutely blow your mind. We found something with this guy. Now, as you know, this is our new guy, Emperor Qin. I used him in KVK. I streamed a ton of our Kingsland, a ton of our past 7, fighting, all that stuff over the last week. I'm a Cav player. I have insane Cav gear. I have insane Cav armaments. Like, it's wild what I have, and my Cavs always perform the best out of everything that I do. Well, not anymore. I mean, look at this stuff. I just got it everywhere. I got 3 Cav marches I run, and they're cracked. They're good. Well, this guy comes in the game, and I have never traded well with archers. It's my play style. I'm a Vanguard player. I play at the front of the ball. I face tank. I do as much damage as possible, and I rinse and repeat. That's how I play. And my archers have always been an issue with my playstyle. Not anymore. Like, I put this guy in, and he was my best march with 2 different combos. I tried him with Zuge for 2 days and past 7 and field fought with it like crazy. It was my best march. I put him with YSG. It was even better. You can reference the video. I'll have a card at the end screen about how he was insanely better with my YSG than he was anybody else. He's still amazing. He's still my best march regardless of who I put him with. Philip, Zuge, but YSG, holy cow. Well, here's something else we found. And this might blow your mind. This guy works off of rage consumption, okay? So what happens if you put him secondary? If you put him secondary, he has a mechanic to where he fires off his active skill on his own timetable. It doesn't matter if you put him secondary to anybody, they can fire off their active skill on the primary, but he's only gonna fire when he has his rage consumed. Okay, it's wild how that works. And so with that being said, he is not on the same skill cycle if he is a secondary commander. And so everybody was kind of trying to figure this out and what this means. And we kind of were putting our heads together on some of the different things that we do with this commander, what accessories to use, what talents to use, all the things, because everybody's putting out guides and they have no idea. Like, what? Not everybody has used this guy enough. It's going to take time for people to use him, for people to test things out. And so what did we do? We tested it out. And mainly my boy Davor figured it out. Sack was in there as well in our conversations we were having last night. And it is crazy what this thing can do. So let me show you something here with a commander that might be reintroduced. And let me just kind of put this out there. This is Tommy. Oh boy, we're back to Tommy. Tommy does poison stacks on the target. She can stack up to 15 stacks of poison. Okay? And when she does this, she is going to inflict more. Where's the stack? Right here. She's going to inflict more skill damage to the target, up to 45% skill damage taken to the target. Okay, we all love this. You put Tommy primary and it works out really, really well. She immediately starts the stacks. However, when she does her active skill, she clears the stacks and she does punishing damage, okay, which is fine. And people still kind of use her with Herman, even in the late game today, but she's really kind of obsolete nowadays, right? She's a K2 rally commander with Edward, and that's how she ran. Edward had a very long skill cycle, where it had 1,350 rage requirements. So you put Tommy behind him, and it allows your stack to go up and up and up and up, and you get up to 15 stacks if it's a 15-second active skill cycle, and then you can do punishing damage with her poison. However, when you're running her in late game with other commanders, it's hard to get that to 15 stacks because she's going to clear that buff. But wait a minute, what if we put her with Chen? And this is what Davor found, okay? We're going to put Chen's secondary. What does that do? How does that work? If he's consuming rage, then the primary commander is never going to fire off their active skill. And Davor did it, and I'm going to show you what it did, okay? Everybody's got to follow this because we'll watch this a couple different times. I'm zoomed in. Davor is showing Tommy primary with Chen secondary. Watch the rage bar. I'm going to pull this up. Look at the rage bar over here on Tommy. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Meanwhile, if you look, Chen is firing off his active skill because he's consuming the rage. He's firing it off every 4 seconds. Look how fast this is going. Holy cow. Look over here on the Shajar. Shajar has 15 stacks and it stays there. It doesn't move. You never clear the debuff. You never clear it. How crazy is that? So now all of a sudden you're swarming a garrison, you're swarming any kind of flag, and you swarm with Tommy and Chen. You can just sit here and lay the stacks down. How crazy is that? So with all that being said, we're trying to figure out exactly how this stuff works. This is one of those things that you got to understand. Let me show you the reports. When you come in here, you can see the reports. Turn 7 fires off. That's Chen. That's not Tommy. Turn 11, 4 seconds later, Chen fires off again. You keep scrolling through here. Turn 16, 5 seconds later, Chen fires off. Turn 20, 4 seconds later, Chen fires off. He's just firing off his active skill because he's consuming all the rage, and her rage never caps out to where she even does the active skill. She just keeps laying down the 15 stacks that she does. Okay, let's see this again. Let's look at it and understand how this thing works. Okay, you're fighting, and you can see that dragon animation. That is Chen's active skill. You can see, boom, Chen fires off. There goes the dragon. You can see it happen again. Boom, Chen fires off. There goes the dragon. Okay, so that's Chen's active skill, and he's just doing damage to everything every turn. It really doesn't matter. Meanwhile, Tommy's rage is not going anywhere. He's just consuming it all. So if you ever have a commander you never want to fire their active skill, Tommy's really the only one. There might be one or two others that we got to think about. But you're just seeing the stacks on Shajar over here on the left. It's 15, and it stays 15. How crazy is that? Great swarming march. You can lay down so many stacks on the garrison and keep them there. And then at some point, you got to pull that off. But these are just the interesting mechanics that we find with this dude in the game. He does weird stuff. Not everybody's got it figured out. We're still trying to figure out the rage stuff. You know, we have a rage cap of 220. Okay, so if you use the horn, what does that look like? Where does the consumption come into play? We're working on all that stuff to give everybody all that information, because you can consume more than 220 rage in a second with all these skills. Okay, well, what does that even mean? All right, and so when you go in here and you look at his talent tree, I'm running him full feral nature. I'm just running all rage all the time. Razor sharp, feral nature. I'm running naked rage over here for the skill damage. Like, I'm going full rage, and he did amazing for me. Now, I don't even know if that's deficient or yet. We're still working that out. But in the meantime, we found out that this thing freaking works. How crazy is that? That Tommy, you can run Tommy primary, put Chen behind her, and you can actually look at this as a march that you're going to lay down so many stacks on whatever you're hitting, and it's never going to reset. Like I said, great for swarming. Okay, it's great to do this type of situation. We're going to have to test that in the garrison. We're going to have to test it in a lot of different places. You know, even though Tommy's not a garrison commander, neither is Chen. But it is wild, some of the things we're finding out with this guy. And if you look at Tommy overall, Tommy's got great stuff. I mean, she's still a really, really good field commander when it comes to some of this stuff, because she does Her active skill never fires off, so you don't have to worry about that. She just racks up the poison stacks. 30% attack, okay? She gets another 30% archer attack. A defense reduction that she puts on the target, okay? That's really, really good. Whenever the commander launches the bag, it has a 100% chance to inflict the poison stack on the target for 5 seconds. They can stack up to 15 times, and it resets every time you lay down a stack. So perpetual poison stacks on the target. Expertise, you gain 10% more attack, deal 10% more counter attack damage. Whenever the troop is hit with the basic attack, the attacker's cavalry units lose 10% attack until stopped attacking. Now here's the other part of Tommy that you got to understand. Tommy also has a museum buff, okay? I don't even have it unlocked. Let's go find it. Where is this thing? There you go. Let's just go view this. It's a 1 relic buff with 15% archer health. Okay. And 10% march speed for archers? Okay. Try it. See what it does. This is the fun part about Emperor Chen. None of us know all the ins and outs of this guy. Trying to understand the rage consumption, trying to understand exactly how this works and why it works. And then we're sitting here trying to figure this out. We realize that you can put him with certain commanders and it does weird stuff. We've already seen, we know that he's good with Zhuge. We just know this. Zhuge is crazy good with this, with Emperor Chen. We like Zhuge. He does more for the murder ball because he's got that 15% damage reduction that he hits on all targets. So that's really, really good damage mitigation for your whole murder ball. And he's got the skill damage we talk about. He's got a good archer attack bonus, and he's got a phenomenal rage engine. You want rage because if you can get more rage, you can consume more. But we're even seeing that with Tommy, you don't even have to have a rage engine on the skills. You can just use her and you see Chen firing off every 4 to 5 seconds. It's crazy. It is crazy. So that was good with Zhuge. And then my favorite, and what did the best for me when it came to the individual march, was YSG. YSG, good range engine. It's not as good as Zhuge's, but it's still really good. The archer attack bonus is phenomenal, 100%, because that attack gets converted into skill damage for our guy Chen. And then this is it right here. Skill damage bonus of 50%. You add that to his museum buff, and you're running skill damage of 12 more percent. And so since he's got 12 more percent skill damage on his 3rd relic and 20% defense, it's crazy. So this is the stuff we're finding out with Emperor Chen. There's going to be more stuff we find out. And I'm pretty sure there's an optimized situation with your accessories to run, with the pendant maybe, because the pendant is like all damage for him. When you look at this, you could run the pendant. It's 5% more skill damage. That's all damage for him. We'll get the talents figured out, what actually works best, and we will micro-optimize this guy. But in the meantime, when we find crazy stuff that's going to blow everybody's mind, like this, then we just got to go figure it out, and it's crazy. So that's the video today. Wanted to share that with everybody. I know it's quick and it's easy, but wanted everybody to understand exactly what this thing does, and to just alert everybody that we're still figuring this guy out. And we're going to find more and more. Credit to Davor. Davor is amazing. You guys have seen his armament stuff. You've seen his stat stuff that he does in the King's Codex. You can check out that Discord. It's wild what that guy does. And he found this and he was like, Chatsky, look at this. And I looked at it and I was like, what am I seeing here? So, got to give him a lot of credit. It's a fun video to put out. Just think about that. Some of you in the field, you might want to run Tommy, might want to put some stacks on the target. We might have to figure that out. If you enjoyed the video, throw a like on here. Consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything. And with that being said, we hope you all have a great day, broskies.